Hi there, this is Sheena Rowlands and today I'm sharing with you my latest layout for Hey Little Magpie. And for this layout I'm using the Vicki Boutin Where To Next range from American Crafts. Now this pattern paper is called Botanical Garden and I have two of them. And I had an idea from the start, so it's what I'm going to show you today. That piece of A4 white paper is potentially going to be the size of my photograph, so that's what I was thinking when I brought that in, and it does cover this central part of this Botanical Garden paper, but I'm going to need to be careful. So using glass mat and a blade, I've cut out the centre roughly, and I've come in with a much smaller pair of snips, and I'm going to work my way round the inner edge. So I'm going to do the two sides first, because I know that there's no concern there with the photograph. Top and bottom, I didn't cut out all of them. I just wanted to be sure I wasn't going to leave any holes, and I knew that I could cover any holes with extra extra flowers. So the second piece, I just fussy cut all the flowers. Obviously off camera, you didn't need to see that. So I brought in this child's craft foam, and I'm going to add it to the back of the one with the hole in. I know it looks weird because you can see the photograph underneath, but I'm just filling all the gaps because I want it to be lifted. So I'm just using this craft foam. I mean, otherwise, if you used 3D pads, I think I'd still be doing it tomorrow. So, so that fits roughly. So I'm going to start just using a bit of double-sided tape and stick that to the back of the patterned paper. And you'll not see the colour, so it doesn't matter that it's this vivid yellow. The reason I've used that is because I can't think of another reason to use it. So I think it will work really well with this. So I know this is a travel range. This is in theory a travel photograph. It was taken in Morocco just before COVID. So to me it works really well with the exotic blooms on the paper. So I'm going to just position this over the top of this A4 photo. In fact, there is a little bit of gap around it, so you can't see any of the white. So I'm quite happy with that. Now I've only used the double-sided tape to stick the foam to the photo at the top because I want to actually tuck some bits and pieces in at the bottom. I am going to put some of the flowers back over the flowers. I haven't necessarily cut them out in their entirety so that I can actually layer some of them up. So I'm just trying to figure out where on the pattern paper they actually came from. And some I'm going to add in the gaps where I haven't actually cut out the edge completely because I was concerned about missing the photograph. So I'm just positioning some of those where I think they would look nice, and I'm bringing in some of the extra bits from the range just to see what else I would like to add. I really like those cards. They came out of the 6x8 paper pad. I'm not sure if I'm going to use hello or enjoy at this stage, but I think I'm going to go with the hello. So the reason I didn't tape the foam to the photo at the bottom is exactly this, so I could poke these bits in. So I'm wondering whether to use the envelope. I like it, but it's going to end up being a layering piece, I think. And I've got some tickets there, so I've been through and I've picked out some pinks and greens to go with the surrounding paper. Now this is a really versatile travel range. It's got lots of colours in, lots of different ephemera. There's some really thin stickers, there's chipboard, there's puffy words, and I really like the versatility of it. So I'm going to have a good look through of what I've got to see what I think would fit. There's a really nice puffy arrow there that I think brings you to that quote, which says, "Wherever you go, go with all your heart." I thought that was really nice. And it came already like that with the punch top. I'm just popping another piece in there, just a few layers. I don't want to cover all the photograph. The idea was to use a big photo, but I just felt it needed some ephemera just down there. I'm going to document where the photograph was taken as well on that journaling card. So if you're enjoying the video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel too. That would be absolutely great. I would really recommend you check out this range and others in the Hey Little Magpie store. There's always lots of current scrapbooking ranges there. Honestly, you could get lost in that site, so maybe make yourself a brew first so you can have a really good look. Plus there's some exclusives that Hey Little Magpie make themselves as well, like the flare badge that you can see on the right there that's got like a canvas texture to it. I'd really recommend you check these out. So I've gone back to looking at the flowers. I've brought in my foam pads. I do apologise for this tray. I tend to cut foam pads up So I end up with lots of little chibbly bits. So I keep them all together and I try and use them up. So I thought they would be perfect for sticking these flowers down. So if I am putting the flowers back over the exact same ones, I've actually twisted them just a little bit so that it's obvious that they're layered, just to give it a bit more fullness of the, it's not quite a wreath running round, but I just thought it just changes the look a little bit. Not all of them, as I say, are going to go back where they originally were from, because I have got a couple of bits top and bottom that I need to cover the straight edges that I'd cut. But I'm just going to have a play. I've cut them all out, so I might as well make the most of them and use them up. So I'm still working my way through the little bits of foam to get them in position. So I cut the flowers out exactly around the outlines, but for some of the like frondy leaves, I actually left a little bit of the background colour, because it's only pale around the edge, because I didn't want to actually have them falling apart. So so you can see that it's on some of them, but as part of the aesthetic overall, you don't really notice it. So I've just got a couple of gaps there. I'm going to trim some leaves down and just fill those so you don't actually notice that bit of paper. So I think that's worked quite well so far. So you might have some questions about the photograph itself. I printed this at home and I did print it A4. It's come out with a little bit of a white border, but that was fine because I've obviously not taken the paper that close to the edges. So I also wanted to position my daughter on the left. This originally was a portrait photo that I've actually cropped to make landscape. I couldn't get her any further left than she is, which is fine. But that was my intention, was to have her in that. That's why when I did put the layer of paper over the photo, I actually trimmed a little bit of the A4 photo that you could see poking out on the left. But I think that's worked really well. Quite pleased with the way it looked printing it at home. I didn't really want to start to send it away to be done. So I'm just looking now, adding a few embellishments. I've still got a few little flowers. This is a acetate paper clip that I'm adding there. And I've got my puffy arrow that definitely needs to go into position at the bottom there. So I'm just going to come in. I've got some enamel dots and I've also got some Nuvo drops. I'm going to add some drops shortly to the centre of all the little flowers when I've finished. I'm determined to use them up and get them all on. But the Nuvo drops I've used is Party Pink, and I'm going to just shortly add a dot to the centre of all the small flowers. And I will also be adding some yellow enamel dots to the centre of the really big, the redder flowers. But I realised that I end up doing that off camera in the end. But that's literally the only finishing touches I add. So if you fancy treating yourself to 2 pieces of this pattern paper, I would really recommend it. It's perfect for all fussy cutters out there. So thank you so much for watching. Here's going to be the main image and some close-ups for you too. And we hope to see you back here very soon. Bye for now.